Broadcasts of HIKI No are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI No.
Aloha, I'm Nikki Davis from Kamehameha Schools, Maui.
I'm Aliza Malunau from Waialu High and Intermediate School on Oahu.
I'm Justin Langstaff from Kapa'a High School on Kauai.
And I'm Natalie Hageman from Keio High School on the Big Island of Hawaii. We're your hosts for this special edition of HIKI No, a look back at Season 2 of the nation's first statewide student news network.
Season 1 proved to Hawaii and the world that when it comes to news and visual storytelling, Hawaii students HIKI No can do. Season 2 proved that we only get better with time as the work grew in maturity, depth, and relevance.
For the next half hour, we'll show you some of the exceptional stories from Season 2.
All conceived, reported, written, shot, and edited by students under the supervision of their teachers.
Stories that connected communities across the island chain.
On HIKI No
Can do!
Before we begin our look back at Season 2, we'd like to acknowledge the grant organizations that made HIKI No possible. They believed in Hawaii's young people.
They knew in their hearts that we could create the nation's first statewide student news network, but without their support, HIKI No would have remained nothing more than a dream.
We thank them for turning that dream into a reality.
Now, on with the show. Our first story represents a theme that appeared throughout Season 2, the healing power of helping others. As this report shows, even if the ones you help aren't people, the self-healing powers of your good deeds can be just as positive. From Kamehameha Schools, Maui, here's a look at an animal refuge where more than just the animals were saved.
Hidden away on a 2-acre parcel in Haiku, Maui, lays the home of Sylvan Schwab and his guests. But they are not your typical guests. They are all orphans or injured animals.
East Maui Animal Refuge, this is Sylvan. Can I help you?
The East Maui Animal Refuge, more affectionately known as the Boo Boo Zoo, is home to over 50 cats, 50 birds, 25 deer, 16 goats, 2 horses, 2 pigs, 1 cow, and an endless amount of fowl.
I can't think of any animal that is on the island that we have not had here at one time or another, because we take in anything if it's in a life-threatening situation.
Each animal comes to the refuge with a story, some more interesting than others, such as the case of Baby, the blind cow.
She was born blind, which is why we took her in. She was already named Baby when she came, but along with pretty much all of the animals that we have here, they come because they're in some kind of life-threatening situation.
So what motivates a person to turn their home into an animal sanctuary? Well, it turns out that the animals aren't the only ones with a special story.
We started out just doing this because when I met my wife, Susie, I found out shortly after I met her that she had cancer and that it was not treatable through allopathic medicine on the mainland. So she basically came to Maui to die. And part of her treatment was occupational therapy to have a drive to survive. So when I found out she had cancer, I started collecting sick little critters for her. And that's how the Boo Boo Zoo started. And over 30 years now, it's evolved into this. And Susie has been clear of cancer for almost 30 years now. And now we've saved the life of the animals who in fact helped save her life.
One of the things we've learned from HIKI No is that sometimes the most intriguing, even mysterious stories can be found right under our noses. Often, we don't need to look any further than our own campuses. Such was the case with this story about some strange creatures lurking around Kapolei High School on Oahu.
My first thoughts upon the Opu was, what is this creature? Why is it here? What does this have to do with any of us?
A lot of people don't understand what it is, and so it kind of just causes a lot of confusion. Skipper, they were like, I don't know, but I think it's going to be our mascot. And I was like, I don't think so.
didn't really have a purpose. It didn't bring our school together, nor did it help the school in any manner, except to display meaning, but they didn't even understand what the meaning was.
And the story is primarily to inspire students to want to stay in school, to hang in there, to be adaptable, to evolve into adults, to do everything they can to be successful. And the fish are all headed towards the library because I consider the library as a symbol of enlightenment and knowledge, which we all need, no matter what we do.
The o'opu is something that truly represents our school, whether it's an evolution of how the students evolve to adapt to their setting.
It's something unique. It's a little weird, but I think that deep down inside it has an actual meaning.
They also represent a resilient side of students that students don't know they're capable of.
And I'm hoping that our students are adaptable. We need to be adaptable. We're comfortable living in this very beautiful environment. But at some point we may have to leave the islands. And even if we don't, if you're young and you're growing up, you have to learn to be adaptable to other people, all kinds of different situations.
In the future, we hope that students can fully understand the true meaning of the o'opu and not see it as some mysterious creature. This is Kimmy Owens reporting from Kapolei High School for HIKI No.
One of the many communities that we learn about through HIKI No is Hawaii's military population. And because HIKI No reporters are students, they can offer a unique perspective on a sector of that community rarely covered by mainstream media: the children of deployed military personnel. Here's such a report from HIKI No's very first elementary school, Kainalu Elementary on Oahu.
United Through Reading is a program where a deployed parent could read to their child by sending home a DVD. This was a touching experience for Braden and Kaylee.
You read kids' books that they have on hand onto a camera, and they download it to a DVD and send it back to the family that they can watch the videos of me reading a book to them.
The first time they saw it, they were all excited. They knew what it was, staring at the television. And my daughter, who was 5 at the time, was actually saying, excuse me, Dad." She thought she could talk to him. It was so lifelike. And they're really excited about it. And then after a little while, they got upset. They realized how much they missed him.
A program sponsored by the YMCA is Operation Kid Comfort.
Oh yeah, and I had this orange. It had pictures of me when I was like maybe about 4 and stuff.
My son especially, he didn't want to go, to bed without it at night.
I was worried because I thought he was going to have a crash.
Braden and Kaylee's worries came to an end when their dad returned home.
He flew in the plane and didn't even get crashed. I did shakas when I saw my dad. Shaka. Master Gunnery Sergeant David Korf's family took in rescue dogs while he was deployed.
We started fostering dogs because our dad was deployed in Afghanistan, and we missed him a lot. It took my mind off my dad being gone, and sometimes even forgot where he was. I would ask Mom sometimes, "Where's Dad?" And she would say, "He's deployed." And I was like, "Oh, right." And I would start crying.
Having the dogs from the rescue, that really helped occupy the time. The dogs had to be walked, they had to be fed. And so it helped pass that time in a very productive, helpful way.
This is Leah,
Allie,
Kanoa,
and Avery reporting for HIKI No.
The level of maturity and honesty that Kainalu Elementary School students brought to that last story was truly amazing. It shows that elementary school students can tell exceptional visual stories, but they need exceptional teachers to show them how. Teachers are the unsung heroes of the education system, and as students, we don't often get to see the hardships they face outside the classroom. From Sea Rider Productions at Waianae High School, here's a story about husband and wife educators who are struggling with the economic realities of their chosen profession.
Somebody from table...
Brent Yamagata is a math teacher at Waianae High School. His wife Lehua also teaches math at Moanalua Middle.
Look at you, boy!
These two educators have to divide their incomes to solve the problem of raising a family.
How'd you do that?
Along with their 3 boys, they spend most of their afternoons enjoying each other's company and playing the occasional video game.
Just lounging around the house. I just enjoy seeing my boys play together.
I already bought 2 non-fiction books.
Shade, Rain, and Blaze provide enough work at home for the Yamagatas. But it's their job at school that has become a struggle for the whole family.
Right? There's like a gap.
Because of the imposed contracts, teachers now suffer from a 5% pay cut. This subtraction equates to over $4,000 that could have been used towards the family's activities.
Watch more at home and spend more days inside than outside.
Making sacrifices has become a common denominator for the Yamagata family. Despite trying to prevent the pay cuts from hindering their children, they cannot conceal it completely.
When we go shopping, he always says, "Oh no, that one's too expensive. Yeah, Mom?" I'm like, "Yeah, we can't afford that anymore."
Recently, they enrolled their 3-year-old son, Rain, into preschool, but without help from a scholarship, Rain would be staying at home.
We've never had that situation before, and we just bought our house, and we thought we had a set income.
That set income led them to consider getting a second job to make ends meet.
It looks like this, and then we have a point.
For the Yamagatas, staying positive is the solution to their negative equation.
And right now I'm glad I even have a job, because there's people who don't have jobs. I'm just happy for what I do have.
Though the salary cuts may be a complex problem, for this family, the sum of each other is the only answer to this test. Jenna Munoz from Waianae High School for HIKI No.
Many teachers face economic hardships, but so do many students, especially those seeking higher education. Here's a story from Moanalua High School on the high cost of college.
Many students are looking forward to attending college. Haley Pendergast, a senior and student body president at Moanalua High School, is one of them.
But what I'm really excited for about college is just the whole independence thing, being on your own and all that. It's exciting.
But choosing her next step isn't all about independence. A lot depends on dollars.
Alabama is a big one for me because I can get a huge scholarship there. BYU will come out to about $14,000 a year. Yale is about $51,000 a year.
Money is on the minds for most high school grads. More than 19 million students entering college next year will face an average cost of more than $22,000 a year. Pendergast is depending on scholarships and a little help from her parents. But Moanalua High School senior Taisha Looper is planning to pay for her entire next step on her own.
I'm interested in going to the University of Alabama or Texas Tech University. My parents aren't financially stable to put money into me to go to college, so really pay for college is kind of on me.
And she started early. Since June 2011, Looper works 5 days a week at Kmart, saving her salary for college tuition.
Sometimes I do get to the point where I just want to be like, today I want to do nothing. But, I kick myself back in the butt and I'm like, no, you're going to do this, so.
Like Looper, Moanalua alumna Gloria Justo keeps a busy schedule. The mother of 3-year-old Rowan and 1-year-old Roxine is a full-time student at Hawaii Pacific University and a part-time student at the Honolulu and Kapiolani community colleges.
Right after high school, with both kids for different semesters, I actually gave birth the day school started.
She's 3.5 years in and is looking at 4 more years to finish with her nursing degree. At first, she relied on grants, but now finding funding is more challenging.
With the rise of tuition costs and textbooks, I was forced to accept loans from the schools.
As an island state, many of our communities are separated by ocean. Through HIKI No, bridges are built as each island gets to share its stories with the others. But sometimes a story can start on one island and continue on another. Such was the case with a 2-part report on our state bird, begun by students at Chiefess Kamakahelei Middle School on Kauai, and continued by students at Kamehameha Schools, Maui.
Although the nene's population has grown steadily, there are still only about 2,000 in the world. However, on Kauai, one population of nene are thriving, from 5 pairs of birds to over 400 and counting since 1999. This one location alone represents a whopping 20% of the nene population in the world. However, there's just one problem.
The concern is that there's a large number of birds that are nesting and breeding, and it's a growing population on Kauai Lagoons Resort. But it happens to be right next to the Kauai, the Lihue Airport, right in between the 2 runways, so it's a public safety issue. So our job is to move the birds away from the Kauai Lagoons so that they're not a risk to the airplanes.
But moving the nene isn't as easy as putting them in a box and sending them to an outer island. and it's not cheap either.
It involves capturing the birds, putting them on an airplane or a helicopter, flying them off, putting in a pen, and taking care of them, then tracking their movements, and then making sure they survive and reproduce at their new site.
2 weeks later, this story was filed by students at Kamehameha Schools, Maui.
The translocation of the nene from Kauai to Maui definitely won't be cheap.
First, you have to hire people to catch them. And they can't be just anybody because these are endangered birds. We have to have people that know how to capture and handle birds because we can't have nene die.
It's expensive to translocate due to getting them here by either air cargo or by some type of air transportation.
Once on Maui, the nene are then translocated to the remote Waiapai area on the southeastern side of the island. Another cost factor in the translocation program is the construction of open and closed top pens that will serve as safe harbors for the nene.
Our goal is to ensure that the population doesn't decline because the nene is thought of as the most endangered bird. So we hope that it doesn't go into extinction.
While the nene is the state bird of Hawaii, a much more prolific bird seems to be vying for the position of the Garden Island's official feathered friend. Everyone seems to have a different opinion on why there are so many chickens on Kauai, and whether or not that's a good thing. Here's a story by students from Kauai's Kapa'a High School on this fowl phenomenon.
The beautiful island of Kauai is known for its incomparable beaches, serene waterfalls, calm, friendly atmosphere, and its chickens.
I don't like chickens because they're irritating and they're dirty.
We love the chickens here in Kauai. We love them, right?
He loves them. Instead of seeing the beautiful things in Kauai that we're never going to be able to see again, he takes pictures of the chickens, wasting our time.
Our tourists who come, they love the chickens. They think it's a beautiful sight to see. And so the feedback that we're getting from our tourists has been favorable.
Chickens are so unique to the island of Kauai that they've even become a capital good for some stores here on the island.
So one of our most popular items are the chickens. I'm not really sure why they're so popular, but tourists like them, I guess, because they see them all over the island.
So from what I've heard, the chickens came here from when a hurricane passed through. They let all the chickens out of all the farms, so now the chickens run free on Kauai.
After the hurricane, where the chickens were able to multiply. So therefore we have more chickens.
This is Justin Langstaff from Kapolei High School for HIKI No.
Honesty, clarity, sensitivity, compassion. These are qualities that all good journalists should aspire to. And they ring true in the upcoming story from St. Francis School about two sisters with severe learning disabilities. The reporter's respect for her subjects shows a maturity that is truly admirable.
Hannah's my oldest. She's 10, and she was diagnosed with Asperger's, which falls under the autism spectrum. And usually kids with Asperger's has problems with social cues, social interactions. So Sarah, we had no idea nothing was wrong with her until after she was born. And then the doctors came to us, and then they explained that she was missing a radius. And along with that, a lot of times came other health problems. But there's so many different syndromes out there, they didn't know what it was. So basically they sent her home with us, not knowing what was going to go on with her, so I had to do a lot of research online. Sarah was diagnosed with PDD-NOS, and she was also diagnosed with Vaudeville Association. That's a big acronym. Both girls were also diagnosed dyslexic. And Sarah's had over 12 surgeries, surgical procedures, and because of that, she lived the first couple years, pretty much in and out of the hospital. When Sarah was little, Sarah didn't see any differences at all. And then as she's gotten older, other kids start becoming more aware and pointing it out. So we've had a couple of incidences where kids weren't so nice about it.
I know that I can't get out with her sometimes. Because she keep beating me sometimes. Okay, Sarah. Just a little bit.
Sarah has the confidence to be able to respond the same way and say, hey, I have blonde hair, you have brown hair. I have blue eyes, you got green eyes. We're different, but we're still the same. And then, I tell her too, you can always tell them, you surf, do you surf? Access Surf is a great community, and it's like family. We go there, we know everybody, and we appreciate all the volunteers that donate their time to teach the kids to surf. Even if they don't stand on the board, it's just a matter of getting out there and the healing properties of the ocean, you know, and doing something that a lot of people never even dream of doing. There's no being depressed about, you know, oh, I can't do this. Yes, you can. You know, you find a way to do it, so.
Smile, Sarah.
She does.
Courage is a trait some journalists may discover they possess in the midst of working on a story. It could arise from placing yourself in harm's way to get the story, or it could be the courage to stand outside yourself to tell the story of a very difficult time in your life. Y&I intermediate student Crystal Sabito was the subject of the following story, as well as writer, editor, and camera person. She is also one courageous young woman.
I should organize my room, it's a mess.
13-year-old Crystal Sabito has a list for everything.
And I still have to learn rifles. Ready?
For a media producer and color guard captain with a 4.0 GPA,
and 4,
everything must be neat, organized, and in control.
Move 1, oh, wrong one. Go back to center, I'm sorry.
While many teenagers worry about who their next date will be, Krista worries about who will remember to buy food for her family. However, there are some things lists can't control.
My greatest concern is, when I don't know how many more years I have. I have a stage 4 cancer.
She's never gonna see me in a graduation cap. She's never gonna see me walk across the stage. I don't even care what high school it is anymore. She would just never see me do that.
In the U.S., 1 in 17 people are diagnosed with colon cancer. Marilu Sabito is one of them.
Actually, yes, it was a surprise because she was so healthy. She was really active and all that. She would always walk with me to school. I know that I'm not going to turn out lucky this time, no matter what happens. It's not going to come out the way I want it.
My greatest concern is me not being around anymore. Who's she going to talk to? I want to be there for her, which I don't know if I could be.
Well, it's impossible for her not to be there because she was always there. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that.
In order for Crystal to deal with the uncontrollable, she keeps herself busy.
I think it made me stronger, but not that anybody could actually notice. It's kind of like an internal struggle. I think I just kind of deal with it myself. I try to figure things out. I kind of had to grow up a little. Even if you cry about it all day, it's not going to make you any more ready to see her pass away.
This is Gina Jove reporting from Y&I Intermediate School for HIKI No.
Through HIKI No, students get the chance to explore traditional cultural practices and art forms of the many ethnic groups that make up Hawaii. Some of the practices take a great deal of stamina and strength. Others can be downright dangerous. Our final story from Maui High School is about one such practice and a man who has a great passion for it.
Fire knife dancing to me is a game of inches because at any given time you are an inch away from death.
24-year-old fire knife dancing veteran Martin Tevego, also known as Chief Tupai, knows a lot about coming close to death. He has been doing Samoan fire knife dancing since he was 4 years old.
I think knowing that at any given time I could get seriously injured is one of the reasons why I do it. It kind of gives me the adrenaline and makes me want to be better at it every time. I risk my life every single day trying to learn a new technique.
This passion has helped Tevego sharpen his skills. At the World Fire Knife Championships this year, he placed in the top 9 among the world's best dancers.
Practice as much intriguing moves that you can and try and be the fastest and the more, to come with more techniques than anybody else. So it's a year-round training, it never stops.
Twirling, throwing, and catching the flaming knife, or nifo'oti, Tevego entertains tourists at the Te Ao Moanalua and at the Polynesian village Loa 5 nights a week.
The origin of the fire knife, though, it used to be war weapons, a war club, which consisted of shark teeth and a hook at the top. And it was used in battle, and the hook was used to bring home the heads of the enemies. Because of the passion and the love that I have for the cultural dance and that sport, I continue to do it.
This is Rosalind Domingo from Maui High School for HIKI No.
I know we've only been able to show you a small fraction of the close to 100 stories created by students for Season 2 of HIKI No. We hope this retrospective has given you an idea of the depth and diversity of stories told by Hawaii's young video journalists.
Next week, PBS Hawaii launches Season 3 of HIKI No, with more schools joining the program and students continuing to raise the bar of journalistic excellence.
So stay tuned. You'll be amazed at how much Hawaii students HIKI No can do.
In closing, we'd like to recognize the talented, patient, and inspiring teachers of HIKI No Season 2. Without their guidance, none of this would have been possible.
Broadcasts of HIKI No are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI No.